So those are the ideas behind the age group formats. You have what is available by U.S. Soccer, and then you have what's available, from my belief, from the best of development standpoint. And you're going to get way more reps. Because when you put a kid into 77, they're going to get pigeonholed into a position, which means they're going to be stuck playing center back or striker. But when you do stuff like 1v1 to 3v3, they're going to get the chance to play attack, defend, transition, midfield, everything in between. And that's the most important, because we're talking about kids having fun. And that's more fun to play a whole variety of stuff than just be stuck playing goalkeeper or defender, as an example. So keep that for an idea in the future. Now, positions and general rules and responsibility, or sorry, not rules, roles, responsibility. Good point, good question, good thought, right? And the whole point of this is to give an outline of what this looks like. Now, this is going to be a lot of information, so I'm not going to do too much. But if we look at a normal team, and let's say we're doing 4v4, right? So you're going to have a player, and a player. Right? So if we look at the US model of 4v4, you're going to have defenders. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You're going to have midfielders, and they're really wingers because they're outside versus the middle. Then you're going to have a striker. Defender, midfielder, striker. Now, the problem is when you watch a typical 4v4 game in the US soccer model, you're going to see a bunch of bumblebees running around like this, together. All of them together like this, because they don't have the level of skill and ability to do so. Now, if they were actually good enough, a defender's job is to obviously make sure the ball does not end up in the back of his net, but also to build and start the attacks. Midfielders' jobs to be creative, take people on, play the final ball, connect with teammates, recycle if necessary, and get up and back. If we look at a striker, his job is to put the ball in the back of the net and be the first guy to put pressure on, and then also be available for passes and connections like that. That's the main idea. Now, what I will say is, and this is where parents get confused a lot, they think that if my son's a striker, he only attacks. He doesn't have to go play defense. And that is a complete and utter fallacy. Remember, this is, whether you like it or not, a team sport. To be successful, the whole team needs to attack, especially in 4v4, and defend. Now, they have specific roles and responsibilities, as mentioned, but those are the ideas of what you're going to see. And I don't want to touch on much more than 4v4, but I can add a little bit to 77. You see a lot of times in 77, you're going to have a goalkeeper at this point. You're going to have usually two defenders, an outside player, a midfielder, and a striker. So this would be a center back, center mid, left wing, or right mid, and then striker. Now, they also have other formations. I'll show you one more. 3 defenders, 2 midfielders, and a striker. So this would be, for example, center back, left back, right back, center mid, and then striker. Now, you can probably, based on what you just saw here, this position should be pretty clear. This should be clear. This should be clear. This should be clear. This one, the center mid, is now your engine. He does all the work. Honestly, that's his job. And that's why you'll see some teams use a system like this, where they have 2. That way they can share the load of work. And that way it's not just one guy running the show. But that means these players now have to provide with. Right? And then maybe one of them goes up to make a second striker. Right? There's a bunch of little things like that, nuances that go into it. But the point is, you have a general idea now of what it looks like from a roles and responsibility. Hopefully that makes sense. You understand, and continue moving forward. I don't want to go too much in depth because it's a lot of information. Now, next one. Here we go. This is huge. When making the jump from recreational to competitive, or what we call travel, 100% you're going to have a significant pay increase. So what I mean by that is you are going to have to pay much more money. Okay? And what will usually happen, I've seen this happen multiple times, is you go out to, somebody will be watching your child's recreational game. They see your kid, even if he's not the best player. They're going to come to you and say, hey, your son's got potential. We'd like to promote him. Literally, they're going to say the word, or some sort of phrase of it. We would like to promote him. We want to bring him to our competitive team. We think he has the level to make an impact. Well, understand, when you do that, your fee that you need to pay is going to go up. Your commitment is going to go up. All right? Your time investment is going to go up. So you need to understand what you're getting into before you do that. And it's a sales pitch. They're going to tell you, hey, your son needs to play with this. We'll get him better training. He'll have a bigger environment and so on and so forth. Before you do that, I highly recommend, because they're going to send you an agreement. It might be a watch. You might watch it, because I've seen ones where they send it to you and you have to like watch the documentation on it. But at least read the damn thing and understand what you're getting into before you sign on the piece of paper. Before you sign this, read the agreement and understand what you're actually getting into from a contractual basis, especially in the soccer world. I can't tell you about basketball. It's typically a 10-month contract. And you should know what you're signing up for before you actually pay for it, because otherwise you could get ripped off. And that's the main theme about it. But what I will add real quick, if I go back for a second. So knowing this, actually there's not enough space, I'll do it here. You can, once you sign up, use what I call, and you can use this for any sport really, but it's for soccer, the Youth Soccer Value Calculator. You can download this. I have a video on YouTube actually that you can watch, and it will walk you through how to use it, but it lets you determine your hourly rate, so how much you're paying per hour for the training, and then you can determine your bonuses and considerations. And this is where you can actually determine your value. Are you actually getting money on this? And what I mean by money is, let's say you pay $3,000. You pay $3K, right? Bonus and considerations let you determine, are you getting value above or are you losing money? And this is the best way to do that, is through that. So if you want that, go to my YouTube channel, Kyle C. Wilson Official, or Kyle Wilson. You'll see it there, and it'll be the Youth Soccer Value Calculator. This is what you're looking for. I think the actual title has something to do with $82,593, because that's what my parents spent on me to play youth sports. And that way you have an idea of what you're getting into. And you can determine if you're actually in the red, so you're losing, or you're gaining value, or at least your child is. Okay? So if that makes sense, thank you guys so much for going through this. The new parent blueprint. Okay, I put this together to help you guys as you make those transitions, if you'd like, from recreational to competitive. You have a roadmap now. I hope this makes sense. If you haven't, please make sure you check out the Youth Soccer Playbook. If you're interested in having your child, or your child's interested in going to competitive, you need to watch that and listen to it to understand what I would do with my son or daughter that has a goal of wanting to get to a higher level, or at least I want to help put them on the best path. And it starts from birth all the way through to hopefully signing a Division I scholarship or a professional contract. So thanks so much for your time, guys, and we'll see you with more content coming out to help you. Ciao.